This show brought to you by Rickmo.
Hey guys, welcome to This
Hola.
Week Inside Sim Racing, July 19th, 2017. I'm John Sable, that's Billy Strange. Billy, how you doing?
I am doing amazing. Or I could be lying.
I
Wouldn't you
mean,
people like to know?
you could be if you feel like being vague like that. So, welcome to the
How
show,
are ya?
everyone. Welcome to the show, everyone. Let us know the levels. How am I doing? I'm doing pretty well, besides the fact that we're babysitting the Boston Terrier puppy again. And earlier today, I fertilized, so I let them both out in the front yard. And then one of my neighbors came home, and the puppy just across the street, took off. So then I chased said puppy around their yard, which I don't really know this neighbor, so that's awkward. And then while I was over there...
Come here, little dog! Come here, little dog!
So that while that happened, then my dog, Indy, ran across the street, came over to his yard, and then proceeded to poop in the yard while I'm chasing the puppy. So...
Perfect.
I gotta take the puppy and my dog back, and I gotta go to a plastic bag and go clean it up. And since then, puppy's been in kennel, and Indy's been moping around inside. So
Your dog is dropping little bombs all over my yard.
oh yeah, the fun of having a puppy again. I just forget how much fun it is. And yeah, puppy plus street. The good thing is I live in a cul-de-sac, like towards the back of the cul-de-sac, so like there isn't a lot of traffic going through. But yeah, dogs.
Dogs.
So someone said the gain on Billy is a little high. So maybe you want to adjust it down slightly again, Billy.
Dude, it's like down.
Is it down as it's going to get? I turned myself up a little bit this week. I mean, the tough thing is Skype really messes with Billy's sound. So that is part of it.
Let me turn it down a little more. It doesn't even register on my end, so you'll have to tell me if you can hear me.
Well, let's see how that goes. I mean, you definitely sound lower on me, but let's see how that goes out to everyone else.
Okay.
So,
'Cause it doesn't even, the bar doesn't even come up.
yeah.
It just
Well, we'll see how it is. So anyway, yeah, welcome to the show. We got a lot of news this week, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 items. So we're gonna go and try to keep on track this week. Got some happenings, poll question, and then some Q&A. Since you guys always like the question and answers. Very loud. Okay, so good. We'll let chat catch up. And then one thing that I'll say now that we have in happenings, we do have Super Chat on now. So you can put donations. So if you want to help us out, and if you really want to get that question answered, Super Chat, a good way to do that.
auto gain is not on in Skype, thank you.
Okay, apparently you're too low now. So now you're going to try to come slightly up.
I moved it like that far.
Well, now you're going to move it like this far. And other people said you sounded fine before, so.
Alright, let me breathe on it. Ready?
Yep. How was that?
It's here somewhere.
Making riveting content at the moment.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Nope, that actually sounds a little better.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay. So, Billy, what do you say? We get on going into the news?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, how about you read this first one? WRC7.
Woohoo. WRC7. Especially long epic stages to be included. So the epic stages are supposed to add, well, that's just a press thing.
Yes.
They will be over 20 kilometers long and will take over 15 minutes to complete. And as per usual with rallying, make one mistake and you're gone. That's their thing. I was watching the stages that they were showing, and if they can pull it off, it's gonna be pretty impressive. I know a lot of people probably won't care for the handling model. They say they're going more sim-like with this one. We'll have to see about that. But the longer stages, I mean, how long have you heard people that like rally want that out of any sim?
Yeah. No, I mean, it is nice to see that they're doing longer stages. Also, I will say, this trailer we got playing here, the car looks pretty good moving around. So that's encouraging to see. because, as you said, a little more focus on physics. Unfortunately, I couldn't try out WRC7 at E3.
Did they stop you from coming across the line? Did they put their hand up and say, "No, sir"?
Yeah,
You're the other one on the side sim racing team.
exactly. Yeah, I just didn't have appointments set up with them. I got to work on getting a solid contact with them. Every time I get a contact, they seem to leave the company. So I didn't get a chance to drive it, but hearing more positive things from people who did get to drive it, and as we talked about before, WRC6 actually wasn't was a step up from 5. So we'll see if they continue that direction with 7.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope they continue to progress, because it's pretty hard to make substantial changes year after year when they have a license to pay for.
Yes. So that is WRC7. Billy is still saying you're a little bit low.
I
so
just
I guess...
turned up a little more.
Okay.
Tom Jones, thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you, Tom, for the donation. Tom, by the way, I need to still send those pedals out to you. I haven't had a chance to get over to the post office. So, that is WRC7, and what was, let's see, over 20 kilometers, over 15 minutes to complete. So that is a good long stage. Yeah. That is nice. Next up, let's stay in kinda Rally World, this time in Rallycross, and this was a video that came out about the same time we were live last week, but we didn't get a chance to talk about it, obviously. And this was iRacing showing off their Rallycross development, and with the VW Beetle at Daytona, which, as you see, is pretty far along, which is very nice to see.
Yes, it is.
Rallycross, and let's see, and that's supposed to be coming out Q4, or the fourth season 4 of this year, and hopefully that happens. One thing that's interesting, and from that clip, was Daytona Rallycross announced when they announced the Beetle? I don't recall any tracks.
I was going to say, I don't think they said anything about tracks.
Yeah,
if I remember right.
Yeah, so that's cool to now see that confirmed, obviously, since that's actually a pretty neat track. I've watched the, what's it? It's the Global Rallycross, the U.S. series that runs there.
ERC or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's so weird that that's the Global Rallycross, even though they're only pretty much in the U.S. Anyway.
Well, they have people from all over. Maybe that's what they mean.
Yeah, so, so that was cool to see, and, one other thing I wanted to note on that. Someone noted in our comments section on the website and the blog about how much input lag was happening on the TV screen there. And just to remind people that TVs have a lot of input lag in terms of what you're doing versus what's happening on screen. So
that's not a good indicator of what the car is actually doing. That's not lag on your end. That's the difference between what's actually happening on screen versus what the camera's doing that they're using to record with.
Yes, exactly. So, that's why I always say, if you can, try to race on monitors, especially on the PC. The consoles make a little more sense if you have set up in your living room or whatnot. I mean, I got a TV here that's more for the console setup. And then also, Billy was talking before the show, there is a lot of the TVs have game modes which do help out some for that. But yeah, the lag you see it's always kind of funny. All the time, anytime I race on the TV, you always get comments about oh, look at all that lag. But when I'm driving, I don't notice it too much.
And it also depends on the game, because some games have a little bit of a visual lag to them, and if there's a lot, there's a lot going on that doesn't always make it look right. Exactly,
yeah. So it becomes a lot more of an impact on you, the viewers, versus when you actually sit in there racing. Wayne Francis here, hey Wayne, said that they just built a Rallycross track at Silverstone, which that's a good idea. Make it a multi-purpose. Boy, speaking of Silverstone, this F1 race over the weekend, I was really hoping for the rain to come. I guess it came an hour after the race, and it was pretty heavy. So, darn.
Right.
I was also kind of hoping for the rain at the Toronto IndyCar race, because, rain just makes things fun.
Yeah, as long as they can hold on to it.
Tom, I'm not making fun of console setups. Nothing wrong with console racing. Okay, Okay, in other iRacing news, we had a new patch that came out yesterday. Billy, what's new here in this Season 3 patch number 3?
Well, for those of you that have been using the new UI, there are some additional improvements. Let's see, UI text boxes to a minimum width to prevent them from stretching over multiple monitors.
Yay.
Yay. What did they do with time attack? It says also makes up and extends part of the chain. Man, got to break these down a little better. Visual improvements, including some users being able to register lap times. Oh, that's still on time attack. So, really, I saw some changes to cars, which is not on here. There's some dirt late model. They changed it from a locking diff to a spool. And then, what else do we got?
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, the rear diff model changed from locker to spool. Reverted changes to aero balance from Season 3 update on the dirt late model. Season setup updates.
Yeah, they got a lot of they've got a lot of seasonal updates to the setups.
Yes, exactly. So, yeah, mostly fixes.
The other one I was going to hit on is, you got it right here, is the changes include an updated car-to-car incident detection for 2x penalties. That's in dirt, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And then new wet dirt textures. Yeah, so that's, it's a decent little patch there. Not super small.
Nope. No, that dirt incident one is a big one. I know that's something that we've talked about a little bit offline, and I know you've been one. I mean, iRacing never really came out with a proper, I guess you can say, dirt damage equation. It just kind of halved. It just halved, the regular. So it's good to see them now allowing more contact.
Yep.
By the way, El Bucho One, Chicago Sim Racers, thank you for the very healthy donation.
Yes, thank you.
Dirtable TV.
I still wish that they would do a separate license.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I've been wanting the licenses to be revamped for a little while. I want to see it broken down by how they have the cars set up on their website, where you have like NASCAR and you have like an open wheel and dirt and prototype. Good to see my camera's freezing up again. Don't worry, last week on this PC. More on that later. Also again, Durable TV. When is Knoxville coming? We don't know when the new dirt content's coming. Nothing's been stated.
They really haven't said. Yeah, what's his name did a whole long post in the forums about announcing things and expectations and reality of what they're doing. So that was, if you haven't caught that,
I missed that. When was that?
Today or yesterday.
Okay. Was it Tony?
Yes. And he was just, people want updated tracks. Mm-hmm. And why aren't we getting updated tracks? I guess he's making a reference to about 3 or so years ago when they were updating the tracks regularly. And he's saying
Oh, Billy froze up. Okay. Well, when Billy comes back, we'll get, maybe we'll touch back on that. I do know where he's going at. The tough thing with updating tracks in iRacing is that you update a track, and then all of a sudden, it changes again. So, I understand that. Okay, well, Billy's frozen there in that very nice-looking position. Let's go ahead and move on to next topic, and that is GT Sport has a release date. And I really hope that Billy comes back here because he was pretty much spot on with this one. I think Billy was within a month of when he anticipated this game was going to come out. But the release date is October 17th in the US and Asia, October 18th in Europe, and October 19th, I believe, in China, if I was reading that correctly. And then if we go ahead and...
There you go.
Oh, Billy, you back?
Well, audio-wise.
Yeah, well, audio here. Okay. So, and then, if I can get my page to scroll here. Oh, here we go. 1 second. Yeah. Oh, I know what's going on. Okay. And then in other news, there was also the Gran Turismo different editions announced. So you have the standard edition here, and then you have the Sport Limited edition for $10 more, so going from 60 to 70 bucks, at least here in the U.S. And if you get the Gran Turismo Sport Limited edition, you get the GT Sport Starter Pack with 8 cars, $1 million in in-game credit, which seems like a lot. Livery sticker pack, which is cool. 30 GT Sport theme avatars, chrome racing helmet for your driver profile, whoopie-doo, and limited steelbook and packaging, which I think steelbook for only $10 more isn't too bad.
Yeah, I would like the steelbook. I like that kind of stuff.
And then Gran Turismo Sport Digital Deluxe Edition for another $10, so you're getting up to $80 now here in the U.S. You get the GT Sport Starter Pack now with 12 cars, $2 million in in-game credits. Man, I tell you, if you get this money, that's a lot. Livery sticker pack, 60
well, it's a
GT.
lot till one of those cars costs $2 million, and then you're...
Well, I guess it
you're
depends.
out of funds.
Sure, I guess it depends what you're buying. But, and also to be fair, GT Sport cars probably should be more because they're more race cars? Maybe?
Well, and here's the interesting part. They haven't told us how any of that is working yet. Because in the beta, you just unlocked cars. Like, you guys got cars given to you.
Yes. So, and then your chrome racing helmet for driver profiles. So, yeah, that is what we're seeing from GT Sport. But again, a release date, that is good. Oh man, Billy, it really messed up everything when it went. Well, at least we can kind of see your sprint car, so that's cool.
Oh, yeah. I'm wheeling off the screen.
that is what you're doing. So,
Throwing out the peace sign. Later, bitches.
So we'll see if we can maybe get that back up here in a second, or we just keep talking like this. So next up,
now.
yeah. So next up is Kart Racing Pro. Billy, what do you know about Kart Racing Pro?
I know that it's $40.
It is $40.
It kind of did a stealth release on Steam. It's been...
By the way, Billy, you need to turn up your volume again. It came back a little lower.
Ah, crap. Hello? How about
Okay,
that?
let's try that.
Let's try that. Start again. New green flag. It says it's been in development for 7 years. This is the same guy that's been doing, I think he does a motorcycle one, and then he's also doing like some sort of dirt track one. Just different simulators, if I remember correct. If this is the same person.
Yes.
It's supposed to, I mean, they've got a bunch of different kart chassis in there, like CRG. I don't know if Pharrell's in there, and I don't even know how you say it right. Tony Kart might be in there. I don't know. I just remember seeing a bunch of different ones. Let's see. There was, how many karts? He had a bunch of different karts in here, and like 12 tracks, I think. The only thing I didn't see was there's no AI, so there's no offline mode. I did not see anything about online as far as if it's ranked multiplayer, if it's just open lobby kind of thing, do your own server. So that kind of had me puzzled a little bit because it doesn't state anything. So $40 seems a bit on the stiff side.
Yeah. And by the way, Billy, I think Darren said you needed a little bit more of another bump. Yeah, it's $40 is possibly a bit much here for something that you're reliant on an online community. Haven't had a chance to try the game out. Gonna reach out to Piboso, I think that's how you say it, and see if we can't get ourselves a copy to check it out. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you and me, Billy, will jump online and see how it is. But yeah, $40 isn't inexpensive, and yeah, it's been developed for 7 years. Actually, our blogger Paul noted in this post that Darren checked this game out back in 2014.
Oh wow!
So it's been around for a while. That's why it was funny. I think someone out on Twitter, I don't remember the name now, reached out to us, reached out to the Inside Sim Racing on Twitter and said, "Hey, this is out," and I was like, "Oh my god!" I couldn't believe it. So yeah, it's been a long time been a long time coming.
Yeah, it definitely was a stealth kind of release, and it's just if it doesn't have a big online following, and especially being at that price, it might be difficult for it to get a lot of support. I know it's supposed to be like it's a training. I think you mentioned like it's a training ground for those that really want to, but I don't know.
Yep.
It's an interesting idea. How about that?
Yes, it is, especially in a day and age where there's a lot of competition, and I mean, even not as much in karting, but I will say like I really like the karting in Automobilista. It's been a while since I played it, but for a while there, back in 2015, I was pounding around on the karts there a lot, and you can have some pretty decent races against AI. So,
Sweet.
okay, moving on. Next up, let's go ahead and talk about this newish title coming that's kind of not even really sim racing, but it's from Milestone, and that is Gravel. They came out with their first dev diary, which you're going to be seeing here, with no volume because there's a lot of talking in Italian, or talking in general. I'm not muting it because it's Italian. That came
Yes, you are.
That came out wrong. But the game was originally supposed to be out about now, and it has now been delayed until early 2018, which anytime you get a early or mid or late, that's always kind of not always the best. So I think that's saying that we don't necessarily know when it's going to be out, but this is when we're hoping.
Well, I'm pretty sure they just pushed it out because of all the different titles that are coming out right now.
Well, it could be potential there. We are definitely getting into a packed time of year starting the end of August. But yeah, so just to recap, this game's going to be out on the PS4, Xbox One, PC. It's the vast areas in Gravel the vast areas in Gravel was not possible until the developers got their hands on Unreal Engine 4. That's one of the big selling points here, so it should look pretty and apparently run better. Talk about how they got a lot more realistic lighting, as you're seeing here. I don't know how realistic the game looks. It almost kind of has a little bit of...
It's definitely got its own art style. I don't know that it's realistic, but they've
stylized.
Definitely got a very saturated color palette, is what I would call it.
Yes, exactly. So, oh man, looks like they're almost getting it. Almost like a Microsoft. What is that project? It's not. It's something different. But anyway, so yeah, and they've also talked about the audio's been drastically improved, and now they're scaling off the car engine rather than RPM, so it's supposed to sound better. So yeah, if you're interested in that, go check that out. Yeah, quite honestly, not a lot of people checked this out. I think this video had like 650 views when I pulled it off today off KeepVid. So yeah, I don't know if there's too much interest right now in it. But yeah, we'll have to see what it is. Again, it's not a sim racing title. This is more of a go out and explore, have fun, race around, and there's like a Cadillac truck in there. So yeah, hopefully we'll at least get our hands on and see it. I mean, I at least want to see how this Unreal 4 engine looks at the very least.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't want to say either way. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. Wayne Francis saying, thought the Unreal Engine would look better than that. Yeah, I mean, again, it's...
And you're also looking at it through a YouTube compression and that kind of stuff.
Sure.
In my opinion, it's always real. I mean, unless it's glaringly obvious, it's always hard to tell how good something really looks on YouTube if it's not static.
Yes, that is true. So, moving on, let's go to our next story, and this is one that just came out earlier today.
Druxton. I know, but I stole it. So, is it me or does the track look a little on the flat side? It's hard to tell, but it looks a little too flat. I mean, yeah, you can see the bank up at the wall, but I don't know. It looks odd. Um, the other thing that worries me is I didn't see any trucks way down on the pole or way up at the fence, like banging off the fence or anything. So we'll see how this goes. Hopefully it's all right. Yeah. Well, and here's the difference. We were just talking about graphics, right? Well, here's the difference in what appears not to look so hot versus something that looks good but maybe doesn't look as crisp as you thought it should. The art style in this is just, it has that white, it has that soft glow hue to it. And yeah, you look at the Unreal Engine from what we were just looking at, Gravel. I think the Gravel one looks better than this.
By the way, I'm sorry, guys. I did not have my mic loaded in here, so they weren't hearing me at all.
Oh,
That worked well. So we're pausing this and going through and seeing how it looks at the moment. That's what we're doing. Well, that's enough of that. So, first time streamer, you would wonder that sometimes. I said, I'm hoping things get better next week. Let me turn that off. So, there we go. Hopefully, I was back there at the very end. So yeah, that is NASCAR Heat 2. And, yeah, we'll see. I mean, like I said, I drove the trucks at E3, and they do slide around a bit. They were pretty hooked up, but I'm hoping
well, I mean, hopefully at least they slide around a little bit. I have, oh man, I don't have my camera on. I can't show it. Never mind.
You don't have a camera on. You can turn your camera back on, or
I'm afraid.
Okay, we'll keep your camera off. That's, by the way, someone asked earlier whether the camera was off. It's because it was on and then it turned off. Okay, let's leave NASCAR and go to the completely other end of the sports spectrum for our last news topic. And this has to do with real-world F1. And good thing I have all the proper things in this this one so you can hear me. So, Ross Brawn, who of Ferrari fame, and then the Brawn F1 team when he had that for a bit before that was sold off to Mercedes, he came out with some. Now Ross Brawn's working for F1. He came out with some interesting comments last week, kind of correlating to sim racing and Formula One. Read a couple of them here. He says, where we are looking at improving the racing in the future, there is a huge community of e-racers out there through whom we could potentially put different environments and different changes to the way we race. We can get them to tell us whether the racing has improved or not. In the e-racing community, if we change the aero property of the cars and that is fed into their community, does that create a better race or not from their experience? It is not that far removed from the simulators the real teams use, which is a very positive comment right there. A lot of the F1 teams use software generated from the games industry to give a more realistic environment for the driver simulator. There is scope in that area as well, which we are exploring. So, you know, that comment's fascinating, and maybe that's kind of coming from the lines of something like you see a lot of F1 teams use R-Factor Pro, where we have R-Factor obviously for us, or R-Factor 2. So, yeah, that was an interesting comment, talking about, you know, maybe we can use sim races to test out new updates. And then he also went on and made another comment saying, one of the things we will be taking a serious look at is e-racing, engaging with the race itself, he said. So how do we create the environment where we have a live event going on and fans are racing their cars in that race? So for example, a safety car is called and they have to react in that environment to that. The potential for that is huge. So, some fascinating comments there. Billy, what do you think now that we see you again?
Well, lucky you.
I know.
Let's see. Oh, I have the controls. Did you mute yourself? Did you kill your mic there?
No, I was good there.
Okay. I'm just seeing comments. Maybe it was from earlier. Anyway, let's see. That's very intriguing. Well, I mean, it shows you the attraction that it potentially could be gaining. So I think we have to treat sim racing as a stepping, like its own experience. So not like a stepping stone necessarily, or should mirror exactly the real world as far as, you're in a virtual environment. So have it like be a part of racing instead of trying to. Does that make sense? Let's see if I can use a better analogy. For a long time, people wanted video games in general to be like movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that's, while you can get a lot of those elements in, video games is its own form that can accompany movies, but don't make a video game like a movie. I kind of feel the same way about sim racing. Make it as realistic as you possibly can, but realize that there are things. Why did my
Your camera
that was
reset?
Wow, that was very distracting. But anyway, just make it so that you can. Why did it do that?
There you go.
There we go. Just make it so you can put it together, at these events. Get people to come out to motorsports instead of stay at home.
Yeah. And building on this, we also wanted the poll question this week. We want to go ahead and get your guys' opinion. You can it's up here in the top corner, hover over there, click on the I. And the question is, how should F1 utilize sim racing? In there I put sim drivers to test new rules, as was suggested there in the first statement. Sim races at the track, so similar to what Formula E does. I was watching Formula E was in New York this weekend, and I caught some of it, and it's fascinating how they. I think it was on the main broadcast. Or was it on YouTube? I don't remember where it was at, where I saw it at. They show the E races that are happening there, where the drivers take on fans. So now it's kind of a camera guy, moving around back there, so you don't really see the racing action. It'd be kind of neat. It'd be neat if they had that in a lower box, and your main view was a direct feed, and maybe they hopped around from different drivers. I think that'd be better. But anyway, they do promote that, which is really neat. And then, and we talked about last week. Now if they just get a better mod.
Well,
yeah,
that's a whole different
whole another story. And then the last thing I have here is race and actual race from home. But I think that was also something that Formula E has tried out, maybe with VR, where you can go and you can be in the car and look around real time during the race. So yeah, that's. A dog just walked in here.
I was gonna say I heard the clicky.
Dogs. So and then I have all the above. So for myself, I think having sim drivers test out new rules is I think that's very smart. Lord knows F1 has made a muck of plenty of things when it comes to the rule book. Even though someone did note in the comments that if they had tested out the qualifying format, the knockout before they did it, they never would have. Which maybe not, which I remember back to, let's see, knockout qualifying came in 2007, I think. And I remember Bob Varsha coming on the wind tunnel back then with Dave Despain and explaining it and how complicated it was. But in actuality, knockout qualifying is the best thing F1's ever done. So it's interesting how that sometimes works.
Yeah, it'll be cool if it can accompany the real racing, and if they can get it to test effectively. We have to put that in there, test things out, and that would be great.
Yes, exactly. So let's hear what you think. I think a lot of people, I put all the above in there. I think a lot of people are going to select probably all of the above. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know about the whole race from home thing. I couldn't quite get what he was getting at. I don't know if he was meaning just race against other sim racers, and then if a caution comes out in the real race, it comes out in your race, or if he was saying race against the field, which then you kind of ghost through them and stuff.
Well, I think what I always thought it would be interesting, and there have been sims that have kind of implemented this, but in a single player career, I always kind of wanted something that would mirror the real race, but react to what I did in the race.
Okay. Yeah.
I always thought that would have been kind of cool, because it just give you that little. I think it would give you that little bit of extra immersion there to, if they ran the Toronto race and there was a wreck on lap 15 or whatever.
Well, this past weekend there was a wreck on lap 1.
Oh, see, so you get, you'd have to avoid the wreck on lap 1. But then if you cause a wreck, then it can also change the balance of what happens. So it would have a script, but would also be fluid depending on how you influence the race. I just always thought that would be kind of a neat idea.
No, that is kind of a neat idea, and I also would like to think, and of course, obviously not a developer here, and I'm sure maybe there's a developer who would scream at the computer when I say this. You know, I like to think that wouldn't be that hard to implement. You know, because you're just kind of like implying, like, you know, maybe it's hopefully be like plugging a logic into, like, okay, this car starts here, this car is so fast. I don't know. Maybe it's more complicated than that, because, you know, some cars get better during a run, some cars fall off.
Well, Virtual RC Pro does something similar. They actually record when you do a run in a race, so they'll have these races planned out, and then you do a race, and you can do a race against AI, or you can take real people's race that they've completed, and it takes their replay and then makes them AI in your race. And you can have them ghost, or you can have them as collision. You know, you can actually crash into each other. And then they react to what you do while you're racing. So it's kind of the same principle. It's a neat idea.
Darren said, someone tried that, and it was a failure.
Doesn't mean they can't do it better.
Well, that's true. Depends who did it. Lord knows we know not quality isn't uniform across the board. Okay, like that, like whatever form that he's running. Okay, let's go ahead, and that's a poll question, and that was our last.
Yeah, it's not the same thing as Drivatars, though. Drivatars is not the same thing.
Well, yeah, Drivatars is different. I don't know. I don't know where Drivatars are at. I feel like you've heard less and less about that. Okay, so that was the last news story. Then the poll question all wrapped up there into the F1 story again up here. Let's go ahead and get into happenings. First up, I have here listed. I don't know if I have that on YouTube yet. I don't think I updated. But anyway, Super Chat is enabled now, so if you want to give a donation, greatly appreciate it. I know right now, quality-wise, we might not be earning donations this week. But next week, on to the next story. Next week, hopefully this will be better, because I have PC parts that are going into PC later today.
Should have some sexy music playing in the background. Oh wait, that'd be copyright strike.
That would be copyright strike, but I mean, some Marvin Gaye with this would definitely be appropriate. So, yep. So Ryzen 7 1800X, RGB memory, because why not? I mean, it's gonna be pretty, I think. So, oh, and Billy froze again. Man, same like angle. So yep, new PC is going to be built later today, tomorrow, and I'll be doing a video. I think I'm going to do a video kind of showing off the different parts. I'll build it, and then I'll show it off again. And there's some other things I want to talk about in terms of like what I'm trying to achieve with this build. Then I'll probably do another video where I go and actually show benchmarks. Gonna do benchmarks that we have in sim racing, like Assetto Corsa and Dirt Rally. I wish there was a benchmark in Dirt 4. And then gonna kind of give some subjective things on other sim racing games, but I think that'll be pretty good to give a comparison. Oh, he fell apart. Okay, well, we'll see if Billy comes back. But anyway, and then in other news happening around here, I saw some people have asked. Oh, by the way, T-Bone, I already have the GPUs. And I do mean GPUs, so I'll get to that later. And then in other news, people have been asking, I do have the SimXperience Accuforce V2 mounted. I have been testing it. I don't know, I don't have a release date for that review yet. So we will see, but that wheel's going to take a little more time to work through. And, oh, Billy's back. Billy? You there?
Yep.
Okay, you have to turn your audio up again. So yeah, anyway, so yes, working on that review, and gonna probably break out that review into two parts. Gonna do a setup video talking about setting up Sim Commander, because that makes so much of a difference, and there's so much to get into a Sim Commander. So I'm going to do that separately, and then I'll give a review where I can reference that video. Because if I put it both together, the review would be probably like 45 minutes at least. So, yep, that's what we got planned, and that's what I am working on quite a bit right now.
Yay.
Yay! I think you sound still a little low, Billy.
Really?
Yep. At least what I'm hearing here. Yes, Wayne has it right. I'm running SLI 1070s. So, already had a 1070, got another one earlier this year. And, yeah. That's what we'll be using. Boy, I tell you, Dave, Google Hangouts kind of blows too. Skype and Google Hangout blow, in my professional opinion.
Yeah, I tried doing one with the guys over at Team VVV, and that was a pain in the rear trying to get that to work as well.
Yeah, toughest thing we're working on is Billy's internet. Some weeks it works great, and some weeks it's just not so great.
Yep, well, I have to use my phone as a mobile hotspot, so I'm at the mercy of what Verizon thinks I should be using for data rate.
Yeah, thank you, Verizon. Okay, so now let's go ahead and transition to Q&A. I haven't seen, well, we haven't captured any questions so far, so if you got some questions, go ahead and put them in chat, and I guess Billy will grab them so we can answer those. Yeah, I think Billy's already working on turning up his volume as we're delayed in chat. Over said, I sense double 1080s. Man, I wish. But even though I have heard there's not too much of a difference between 1070 and 1080, which is part of the reason why I went with 1070. Discord might be an option. Does Discord have video?
I think, yeah. I know they have audio. I don't know if they have video.
Okay.
I know they have audio, so you can do a chat, but I don't know that they do video.
Exactly. It'd be nice if we can keep doing video. Okay, let me...
Tom Jones is your first question.
Okay. What do you think? If you don't qualify in iRacing, you start from the pits. I am tired of qualifying 10th and 11th, doesn't qualify, and starts right behind me. No, I don't think that's the case. I don't think so. I mean, I think some people want to start towards the back, but if you start from the pits, starting from the pits is a major disadvantage, especially when you're talking a road course race. You're well behind by the time they let you, and they really let the field go. I feel like more than like real racing. From I believe like the one time I started in the pits, I normally don't do that. So yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think you just got to qualify better. That's my suggestion. Let's see. Akuru666, using Oculus, do you need to set graphics settings as high as possible, or is medium settings enough? Example, viewing distance is not the same as on monitor. The Oculus is just not nearly as nice as a monitor. So try to set things as high as you can, as long as you're able to keep steady frames per second, and you're not seeing any juddering and choppiness happening on screen, which has gotten better for Oculus back about 6 months ago. I think they came out with the update where they were able to like use software and cut the frame rate to like in half, where it could like appear like it's still running smooth even at like 45. I think was the goal of that. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, no, I believe you're correct.
So, which I think actually kind of burned me a little bit when I've gone and tried to capture in VR, because Oculus, because it can run now smoother at lower frame rate, I'm like, oh, this looks great. So I've turned up the eye candy a bit, and then when I capture, then I'm not even registering 60 frames per second for even for YouTube. Like I'll go and upload it and be like 50, and that's when I'm like, uh-oh, there's an issue. So yeah.
As I'm putting in questions, Johannes, we already talked about the NASCAR Heat 2 trucks at Eldora. So possibly rewind, because I probably won't be able to say everything I said the first time.
Well, and you will hear Billy. You won't hear me.
Yeah,
as I muted myself on that scene. Okay. Richard Spencer, any idea how many professional quote-unquote professional sim race drivers / teams are in existence? I know you guys are tied with ISR TV, but if not, would you consider a seat in top team, i.e. Team ISR TV? I do think we should have a Team ISR TV. We on iRacing we have a Team ISR TV that we've ran. We're good at running Daytona. Struggle at running other things as we get busy. Like I saw that I see iRacing's running Spa this weekend, and this weekend's the bonus daughter's birthday. So it is her birthday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday celebration. So yeah, I won't be able to race. But
How dare you?
yeah, how many professional teams are out there? It depends what the definition of professional is.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
We have Team Redline, which those guys are the most legit out there. You know, they have a manager in Don Duham. I think I said his last name right. And they've made big money. You know, the Formula E event, the Vegas E race. I mean, they mopped up with, I forgot what their total winnings was. I think I added it up and it was a ton. So those guys are definitely professional, and I think those guys kind of have their hands. They kind of get involved into other things like the McLaren stuff, the McLaren racing thing. By the way, this is something that I didn't realize, or maybe I forgot. Darren said we did decent at Le Mans until someone took me out. That is true. We did run Le Mans last year, and we just got taken out by a damaged car. The McLaren World's Fastest Gamer. I think we announced we reported on the story, but I had just forgotten. They're selecting 10 racers for the finale. Well, 6 of them are already pre-chosen. Only 4 are coming from the general competition, and they announced their first one last week, which was a guy who does really well over on Codemasters F1. He's like the top ranked guy over there. Frankly, I'd never heard of him. But yeah, if you could check out like their Twitter for the McLaren World's Fastest Gamer, they have their own Twitter handle, and they announced him then. So they're going to be announcing 5 more drivers, and I assume there's got to be someone from Team Redline, someone or a few people from Team Redline in there. Yeah, but yeah, getting back, I think they're professional. There's some other ones that definitely are big organized teams, especially around iRacing. I don't know if I'd call them professional. I don't know if anyone's making it a day job. If anyone's gonna make it a day job, it might be the Team Redline guys. And yes, we should have a Team ISR TV, and actually, it's gonna be more details on Team ISR TV stuff coming up. Teaser. Let's see, Trekin 04. Billy, you want to take this one?
Let's see. Asked when is the sprint car fun race, and then I don't know if that's Themexer or the Mixer 99. Can we get an iRacing Dirt ISR fun race after the show one of these days? We are, how do we say it without saying it? We're working on stuff.
We're working on stuff. Yes, we're working on stuff to run more races with you in an organized fashion.
Yes, we're really trying to. I guess the idea of the generic. Without trying to get specifics, because then if we don't do it, then everybody's like, you said you were going to do it. But we're trying to get more community, have a way to get more community focused, have a way for you guys to interact with each other as well in a nice community style environment. So we are working on things. I don't know how else to put it without like bleh, verbally vomiting all over the place.
Well, we'll leave it there with that verbal hiccup.
Yeah. Sweet. I like those.
Todd McDanger. For John, does Project Cars Force Feedback compare well to the Seto Course? It's tough to comment too much on Project Car. Well, Project Cars 1, I say no. If you're talking about Project Cars 2 based off the E3 video I did, it definitely feels like it's in the right direction. I mean, it felt really good on the Thrustmaster. What are they calling it? It's not it's the Xbox version of the TSPC Racer that has the Sparkle rims on it. Need to touch back with Thrustmaster and see if we can get an idea when that wheel's coming out. All that stuff's coming out. They were just saying Q4. I assume they're going to be trying. August, September, October is going to be very busy if dates for software hold up, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be a ton of hardware hitting at the exact same time, because there's going to be a lot of sales to capture there and a lot of hype. So that is going to be a very busy time for us, which is why Billy was alluding to a second ago. We're trying to get that out here sooner than later. So, yeah, I'm not sure. I will say I do love Project Cars. The Bandai US, they put out a tweet yesterday showing off that video from E3, and it was like Inside Sim Racing's like review on force feedback or on physics from E3. I'm like, it isn't a review.
You can't do that.
This was a first look. So, marketing, got to take advantage of those positive things, I guess. Let's see. AJ Rogers, any suggestions on good settings for CSL Elite in order not to burn it up? I assume this is the wheel. And are you running PC or are you running on the consoles? That's my question.
Well, if you feel like you're lifting weights with it, turn the force feedback down.
Yeah. Interesting comment here from Wim talking about going back to the teams thing, saying how Team Redline's getting all the exposure and not too much else. And yeah, I mean, it is, what I think's driving that a lot? Team Redline partnered up with, and this is still an organization that I still need to reach out to them and figure out what exactly they're doing. What's his face from the Nissan program? Billy, can you help me out?
Which one?
It's a sim racing and cars and video games. Someone in chat will
Well, there's been a few.
Yeah, but it's the guy who used to run the Nissan Motorsport program, and then he started this sim racing inspired company.
I don't know.
God, I have to look this up now. But yeah, he's working with Team Redline, and I think he's the one who's paired up with helping to get this world's fastest gamer thing going with McLaren. So I think there's kind of this coordination there where he's helping to consult on these companies looking to get into sim racing, and then his relationship with Team Redline is also helping to promote them. So I think there's a combo there of things happening. Hoping chat catches up here. Man, for the life of me, I can't remember that. But anyway, I do think that's part of the reason why you're seeing a lot of Team Redline, not other things. So again, when you have a full-time manager to do that kind of stuff, that helps things out.
Yeah.
And Darren does mention here, Coanda's doing pretty well, aren't they? Yeah, Coanda right now is leading.
Yeah, they're killing it.
Yes. Yeah,
they have for a couple seasons, haven't they?
Yes, no, they've been doing well. They're leading the iRacing F1 right now with I can't remember their driver. But okay, I'm sure we'll get back to that when the chat catches up.
Overt. Billy, yeah. Because you were on the burn it up question, right?
Yep.
Overt. Billy, do you feel like starting over your Boxer Cup championship? Because the beta has awesome new AI. Yeah, I was reading that, so I kind of like the idea of seeing how different it's going to be when it gets updated. They're doing a bunch of improvements, and one of the big improvements for the AI is it won't just back off. It won't just concede the position at a certain point. It's going to figure it out a little different on how to try to stay with you, rather than get to a certain point and realize you have the position and then just drop in behind you. I guess it's going to the AI is going to try to stay more in contact, not literally, but closer to you instead of letting you have the corner so much. So it'll be interesting. They said that the aggression definitely has to be turned down, though, and there's going to be some growing pains as far as fine tuning it, because apparently it is pretty aggressive.
That is fascinating. I've been wondering when we're going to get the final 1.5 update for Automobilista, and they're going to call it good.
We should be getting close.
It should be getting close. And at that time, I wouldn't mind to do a review if we possibly could. And those reviews are always tough. Circling back, because chat caught up, Martin Kroenke, who drives for Coanda, and then Wim and Paul helping me out. Darren Cox, who ran the Nismo Motorsport program and was part of the implementation of GT Academy.
Okay.
And then he founded Esports and Cars, Esports Plus Cars. So again, there you go, esports. So I think he's doing a lot of consulting, because I think he was someone involved in the Vegas E-Race, getting maybe consulting on that, and now he's tied in with McLaren. If you remember that Vegas that E-Race, Zach Brawn, the CEO of McLaren, was present for a panel discussion. So I think those are kind of some of the intertwinings we're seeing happening there, if I had to guess.
I will defer to you.
Okay, Kevin Samut. Is it worth replacing my old 24-inch Asus 60-inch triple monitors with a single Samsung
60
32...
hertz.
60 hertz, yes. 60 hertz triple monitors with a single Samsung 32x9. So the Samsung 32x9, I am trying to find a contact to Samsung because I want to review that. So...
Is it curved? Or is it flat?
I don't remember if it's curved, but it's huge. It's like two monitors put together.
Yeah.
Because I have 21x9. This is 32x9. This thing is massive. So I think the answer might be yes. I think it is curved, Billy. I think it is. Can always look it up. But anyway, I do think it could be worth it because that's so wide. And also, once you go to 60, once you go to 144 from 60, it's like a whole new world. So there is that aspect.
My question would be, since you just did that video about triples, would it essentially start doing the same thing? Start stretching the sides? Since you have such a wide, viewable area?
By the way, people in chat saying it is curved. I don't think so, but that is a fair question. It's hard to tell on my monitor because, let's be fair, 21x9 isn't that much wider than 19 or 16x9 aspect ratio. But, and Billy, since you have the same monitor in single screen, I've never noticed any stretching in single screen.
Yeah, but that field of view is, to me, like at least my field of view is right on the verge, like right on the edge of where the car starts to come along the sides. Because I put my monitor pretty close.
Yes.
So I'm just curious if I was to get a 32 by, that large, since I'm going to be able to see more of the right side and the left side, like down the side. I'm just curious how that would be interesting to see how it looks. Don't know if it'll actually stretch it, but I'm just curious.
I think Wim kind of brought up a decent point here. Is I think it will generate a weird field of view, and it might because I can only go so wide here. But instead of your screen being here, you're getting those corners really far out, and by far out I mean again you can't see it. They're really out there, so it could be an odd field of view. And also someone else just noting, Alex said here, how do you set up a field of view on curved monitors? Allegedly, the curve and the width is probably causing some distortion, technically. I don't really notice anything.
I don't either.
I've had that question a lot. My side monitors, I don't notice the curve causing any issues. Allegedly, it does, because that's what NVIDIA talked about when their SMP technology came out. They said that not only was it for being able to run triples with rendering one screen allegedly, but it's also supposed to help on things like curves and ultra wides. But frankly, I don't notice any issues. Yeah. Okay, let me go back to a lot of different questions over there currently in chat. But let me get back to our list here.
I'm trying to bring chat back up. Mine died.
Okay, Billy, this one's for you from Ron Smith. Billy, any relation to the actor Glenn Strange of Gunsmoke?
Not that I'm aware of.
I've never heard of that movie.
What?
Gunsmoke? Was it a big movie?
You're not being facetious?
No, I'm not being facetious.
Oh yeah, no, it's a Western. When's
it from?
Long before my time too, but yes.
Who's in it?
It was now you're gonna
is it John Wayne? I do
No,
like John Wayne.
I don't think so.
I do like John Wayne movies. Well, there's only so many. There's a lot of westerns from back in the day. There's only so many I can watch. And besides,
I remember like Fistful of Dollars or whatever it is, like the Clint Eastwood ones and the spaghetti westerns, because my dad loved watching those.
Let's be fair. My favorite all-time western can never be beat: Blazing Saddles. I love Blazing Saddles.
I was gonna say, do you like Mel Brooks movies?
Oh my god, I love Mel Brooks. It's amazing. Michael Clark, what about two AMD Vega GPUs with the AMD CPU? Oh man, am I sensing AMD fanboy? I don't want to say that. But, Gunsmoke was a TV show.
That's right.
Okay. Well, To be fair, my wife calls everything shows, so that's always confusing whether it's a movie or a show. But that's just her issue. I'm using two 1070s because I have two 1070s. And honestly, a 1070 is stronger, more powerful than anything AMD has right now on offer. So, that's what I'm going with. Gavin Windsor. Is it just me or are iRacing drivers' numbers down these days? I don't know. Billy, have you noticed anything subjectively?
It fluctuates because you have new content that comes out. So like when Dirt happened, it was a huge influx of people playing. And then those numbers kind of taper off depending on how well people do and how well people tolerate the community in iRacing. So I think it's up and down. I don't know that it's anything worse than before.
Yeah, I think it also depends a lot on what you're running. Billy, you still there?
Yes.
Okay, you made a weird sound at the end, like it cut out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Also, we're at okay. Joel. Oh boy.
Say it.
Johnson. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought his name was
it's
Johnson.
put together.
Johnson
Logitech. That's
Johnson
awesome.
Logitech. Let's see. Logitech versus Thrustmaster. What am I going to buy? Not over $400. If you got $400, go buy Thrustmaster. Because, I mean, at that price, you can go and get if you need pedals too, you can get a T300 GT edition for $400.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep, go buy Thrustmaster. I always feel bad picking on Logitech, but it's what they got. RF Night Stalker, do you think Project Cars 2 will run better on PS4 Pro, or do you think on PS4 it will still be solid? So I drove it briefly with a controller at E3 on the PlayStation Pro, I believe. Looks really nice. I don't know. That's really hard to say. Honestly, I don't have a good gauge on how much better games are currently performing on the Pro versus the regular. Oh, great. We lost him again. So, we'll see if he comes back. So, yeah, I don't really have a good gauge on that. We'll just have to see when we get it. I've thought about getting a Pro just for testing purposes, but I don't know if I'm going to go and take on that expense to see. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. Next up, Tom Jones. John, have you investigated NVIDIA SMP that's supposed to correct for triple screen support? I hope that question makes sense. Yeah. So if you look at my iRacing Season 3 of last year, I believe. Yeah, Season 3 of last year. It's whenever Le Mans came out. So when Le Mans came out in iRacing, we did a preview first look video, and I checked out SMP because that was brand new. And unfortunately, it hasn't really changed much since then because iRacing implemented it, and then they talked about there was limitations. Like if you pull the field of view all the way back, which I need to with my setup, 180 degrees is where it's like best for me. If I get any closer, I'm like really on top of the wheel with my triple monitors. And you can't pull back all the way, and then like if you do, it like freaks out. So you have to scoot up a little closer than I care for. And there was something else that's kind of odd. There's a reason why I'm not running it. So anyway, it hasn't really changed since then. But I did take a look at it. But we need NVIDIA to update it. NVIDIA's just kind of, I feel like, dropped the ball on, they announced it and then nothing. Which sucks, because I think it's really cool technology. And I feel like that'd be a solution to a lot of the titles that don't have triple screen support, which is what I talked about in the Sim Racing Explained episode from Sunday. I think it came out Sunday. So go check that out if you haven't. Let's see. We are at Grant Henderson. D-Box over next level V3, and would Sim Vibe with D-Box be overkill? Let's answer Billy again.
Hey.
Hi, Billy.
I'm using my landline now because it keeps dropping me.
Well, at least your volume seems okay.
Okay.
This time around. Anyway, let's see. Where was I at here? D-Box over next level. So the D-Boxes, I've tried bad D-Boxes and good D-Boxes setups. The D-Box is really nice. I tried it at the PRI show. It felt good. From Crimson Simulators, I believe. They were there. It felt good. Next level V3 I have a lot more experience with, and I really like it, especially for what it is. being that it's compact and not that noisy. I still run mine every time I go race. I still run it. So I really like the V3. I don't think SimVibe would be an overkill to D-Box or any kind of motion. I think that'd still be a good way to go. So yeah, I mean the big thing comes down there, I believe, is D-Box versus next level V3 is a big price difference. D-Box is going to be like at least 10,000, 15,000, I think.
It is not cheap.
It's not inexpensive. Where the V3 is like $3,000, I believe. So yeah, big difference price wise there. Night Stalker, RF Night Stalker. Can we see preview of the new karting simulator? Like I said, we need to get copies of it. So as soon as we get copies,
I'm not up for spending $40 on something like that yet. So if they'd like to send us a copy or two so we can try it, then that would be great.
Yep, exactly. Johannes Heng. Are you guys looking forward to Forza Motorsport 7? Any news about multi-device compatibility with the PC version? Forza Horizon 3 could only utilize one device at a time, which annoyed me. By the way, I think you just hit on my next Sim Racing Explained video. Multiple input devices. I don't know. I got briefly spoke with Dan Greenwalt from Turn 10 at E3 in the hallway while he was being ushered to somewhere else, so it was very brief. And he talked about all the wheels are going to support. I don't think we hit on multi-input devices. If we did, it's in that video from E3 of the Forza. I honestly don't remember, but I don't think we got to that. So we shall find out soon. Should almost go, and I'm sure Darren has his email. Should really just email him and ask, and at least put it in their mind in case they're not doing it.
There you go.
Richard Spencer, believe we all try to race clean and fair, but man, it's difficult to stay calm 100% of the time. Ever taken out someone or just nudge back at that fool in a Vettel-like moment? Nudge back. What about you, Billy? You ever hit people on accident?
On accident or on purpose?
Well, I think there's on accident, and then there is like you just lost your mind and you bumped into someone.
I will, if I have accidental contact with somebody, and we've been racing real clean, I will wait for them. I'll pull over and wait. Just to, I don't know. It's just something. We do the same thing at the slot car store. But if somebody's been giving me problems, if they happen to make a ridiculous move, and if we happen to touch, I'm not going to cry over it.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, I've accidentally ran over people. I remember one time early on in iRacing, I was pretty traumatized by this race, but it was an IndyCar race at Watkins Glen. Not only like 10 of us in the race. I was starting like 6 or something, and went towards the first corner, and the guy in front of me just braked sooner than I thought. I don't know if he braked early or if I was just late. I think I might have been just a little late. Or maybe I don't know if I was necessarily late, but I should have been a little more cautious and a little more kind of trail braking going the first corner. You know, people going a little softer.
Right.
And I just ran him over, and and he was, on chat not happy, and I felt terrible. I was so distracted by him being all pissed off. I like later that lap wrecked. I think I also damaged my wing, and then left. Said sorry and left. So if I do hit someone, I always apologize. But yeah, that one sticks out. I don't know if I've had any other ones that are too egregious. Besides the one you guys all saw at E3. I rammed in the guy in Rallycross and took off. And then was chastised for not stopping.
Yep. John with, hey, I have nothing for that.
Have you guys ever watched Supercross? They do it to each other all the time.
Oh, I see.
You hit someone, and you take off. Yeah. LCWTGH. John, do you think physics will be the same between PC and PlayStation 4 on project cars? I hope so. This is something I raised after that Fnatic CSL review where I was getting like really bad choppiness on the wheel on the PlayStation 4 and it was just behaving not as nicely as it did on the PC. I do wonder if the consoles are able to, I don't know, output as much data or fidelity or details, what have you, as the PC is able to. Maybe
I don't think that's a physics issue. I think that's more of a. I think that's like an output to the device I would really be surprised if there's any difference between a console and a PC as far as physics are concerned, unless they actually state so.
Yes. No, yes, I agree with that statement. The physics should be the same. I don't know why it would make any sense for them to make more work and change it. So, that is probably the proper way to put it. Okay, Billy, we're wrapping it up there?
I think so.
That sounds good to me. So, as always, thank you for watching the live show. Again, apologize for whatever technical stuff's going on with this webcam. Logitech has new webcams coming out, so I think I'm going to hit them up about trying to get one to review. Or they are out. So, I know I've been having an issue if I was looking at webcams 30 minutes before the show went live. So, but again, new PC build happening with fancy RGB. Seriously, I have like RGB on everything. It's very exciting. So, I'll be having my Techno Rave coming up on a show fairly soon, talking about that, and we'll do some benchmarking and try to help you guys all out there. Hopefully, we'll be streaming from it next week, and it will be better, and I can turn up the bit rate and all that good stuff now that I have fast internet. And maybe, and Billy will see how it works because you'll still have your internet.
It's about the same as a tin can in a string, so.
Again, I need to have a picture ready to go. A not flattering picture ready to go when you disconnect.
Perfect.
So thank you for watching this week Inside Sim Racing. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like. I'm John Sable, Billy Strange. See you guys next week.
See you next week.